The bike that we have today is one of the most anticipated motorcycles of 2021. It is one of the most requested for features that we get on the MotoDeal YouTube channel. And yes, I've been dying to try it out for months now. Now that it's here, I'm a little reluctant to swing a leg over it and try it out. What if I get disappointed? I've built this image in my head of how good this bike would be. But there's only one way to find out. It's time to go beyond the ride with the 2021 Triumph Trident 660. Every so often, a bike comes along that is extremely important to the brand, and that's what I believe the Trident is. Not because it's super technologically advanced that it borders on complicated, nor is it faster than a speeding bullet. You see, when Triumph officially opened its first dealership in the Philippines, it had to contend with other established premium brands that had a huge head start. And to think they opened their first showroom in the first quarter of 2020. Now, despite the challenges, the brand did really well, but this could give it that extra boost. In a time when we are seeing a huge influx of first-time riders in the country, an entry-level, easy-to-ride MC is just what Triumph needs to not only bring in new fans to the brand, but maybe it will also get people who haven't ridden a motorcycle for a few years who want something that has the undeniable heritage and style that Triumph brings in a very manageable package back into riding. The Trident is powered by a 660cc liquid-cooled 12-valve dual overhead cam inline 3-cylinder engine that punches out 80 horsepower and 64 Nm of torque. Stopping power comes from Nissan 2-piston sliding calipers, twin 310mm discs with ABS up front, and a Nissan single-piston sliding caliper, single 255mm disc with ABS at the rear. Keeping bumps at bay, up front you get Showa 41mm upside-down forks and a Showa monoshock with preload adjustment at the back. Front tires are 120/70 while the rear is 180/55, both on Michelin Road 5 17s. The bike does have a lot more tech not typically found in its class and price range, such as a slip and assist clutch, 2 riding modes which is road and rain, ride-by-wire throttle with switchable traction control. It's also got a great looking TFT display that is not only stylish and functional, but it's also very easy to read, even in direct sunlight. It's got an easy rider interaction on the go. It will allow you to control your phone, have navigation, and even control your GoPro. It's got all LED lighting with self-canceling indicators. And I'm sure you know a rider or two who really need that. I love the way it looks. It's not a bike that's going to be begging for attention, but it's a lean, mean fighting machine, neo-retro, minimalist, and subtle body design, but it does have a sporty feel, a little bit of a refined, classy look with a friendly vibe. All of that, it probably will appeal to many people out there. The seat height is 805mm. I am 5'6" for your reference. And once I swing a leg over it, that's the situation. Not too bad. It's got a dry weight of 189 kilograms, which is really light. So for first-time riders, that should help with your confidence. The fuel tank capacity is 14 liters, which is pretty standard for bikes in its class. And you can get about 25 kilometers per liter, which is pretty impressive. Now there's something that I question with the design of the indentation of the tank right here. I am 5'6", the average height of a male Filipino, and I don't even reach it when my foot is on the pegs. I prefer there was no indentation so that I can grip the tank better, especially when you're at speed on the expressway. Let's fire her up and test that exhaust note. The foot pegs are slightly rear set, just enough to give you a little bit of an attack-like position, but it's not too high that it's uncomfortable, so I like the ergonomics. I can't stress enough how friendly the bike is. The power is there, but it's not intimidating. I think this bike would have been one of the top choices had it been out when I was buying my first motorcycle. I really do. The engine is glorious. The triple has a lot of character and performance. It's got a good mix of low down torque and top end power. Plus the exhaust note is pretty nice, although I do wish it was a little bit louder. You know, in the Philippines, we can go a little bit louder than this. We're not in Europe. And I'm pretty interested if Triumph in the Philippines will offer an aftermarket exhaust in the future. The way the chassis is set up makes the ride agile and confidence inspiring. The suspension is great, just like all Triumphs. And the brakes work really, really well. The handling is pretty special considering you don't have top-of-the-line parts to keep the price down. The way the Trident handles is a testament to how Triumph engineers set up this bike. It is really impressive. If you think about the competition of this bike, which is really the middleweight nakeds of the Japanese Big Four, this actually has more technology and features with riding modes and traction control, which is really not common in this price range. Now, it may not be as fun as the MT-07/XSR 700, and maybe it's not as easy to maintain as the CB650R, although it might be too early to tell at the moment. But this, the Trident, is in a happy middle ground of both, which is a great place to be. I got caught in the rain when I took this bike to Tagaytay, so yeah, I got to test out both riding modes, rain and road. And it was still sure-footed. I never felt like I was in trouble. I guess it's a good thing also that I didn't feel the traction control. Now, I did feel it to be a tad bit too light for my liking on the expressway while at speed. There was a slight sense of uneasiness when a really strong gust of wind smacked me from the side. But maybe it's because I've gotten used to bikes that are a little bit heavier, with a little bit more presence on the expressway. It's fine most of the time and most of the way, but there were a few moments of some slight concern. But I guess that's just a trade-off of having an agile and light bike. I mean, there are going to be, you can't have everything, so there's a give and take. Now, this bike is not just for first-time big bike riders. I can imagine people having this as their second bike. Let's say you have a big adventure bike and you want something to use on the daily in the city or just around town. And if you're not a scooter type of person, the Trident would fit that role really, really well. Riding around the city is fairly pleasant. It's pretty easy to filter, it's slim and light. I can plant my foot down with no issues, which is really important for first-time riders. I also didn't feel it get too hot in traffic situations. So I think as a city ride, this is really fantastic. In terms of service intervals, Triumph claims will be every 10,000 miles or 16,000 kilometers. That's pretty impressive. Of course, we have yet to test that out. It's too early. I am really impressed with this bike. Triumph looked at the category dominated by Japanese brands with the XSR 700, MT-07, CB650R, Z650 and said, okay, that's a good cast of MCs. But how about we give customers even more stuff? Plus having the Triumph brand attached to it kind of makes it feel a little special.
Yes, I was looking forward to try the Trident all year long, but no, it's not the best bike I tried. Rather, it symbolizes a special moment in my riding journey. It reminds me of the time when I was just starting out riding bigger bikes, preparing myself to make my first big motorcycle purchase. It's really everything I wanted when I was just starting out, from the looks, the brand heritage, the safety features, the tech, the friendly ride, plus the price tag. The 2021 Triumph Trident 660 can be yours for a starting price of 499,000 Philippine pesos. It's a great deal, and I'm curious to know firsthand how the Big Four responds. For more information about this bike and other MCs out there, log on to www.motodeal.com.ph. This has been Jinno Rufino. Hope you guys enjoyed going beyond the ride.